What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. Hope all is well with you. Hope you're enjoying this holiday season. It's a very busy season for me. Work is crazy, overtime hours, dealing with my son, things like that. So around this time of year, I don't always get to do all of the content that I would like to. So I do appreciate you guys checking back to the channel, seeing what's going on with me. I don't fall off the face of the planet. But you know how it is, guys. Real life prevails. But anyway, guys, I want to talk about this story that I saw probably a couple of weeks ago now. But you guys, I've been busy, so sometimes it's hard for me to catch up with these things. But I want to get your opinion on this because it actually goes to a point that I've been trying to make for a very, very long time. For everybody out there, especially black folks who think that race swapping is a harmless thing and is something that we should not be against, and you somehow find fulfillment in this. I want to show you this, guys, and I want to give you something to think about here. And this was in ScreenRant.com because, guys, I think one of my last videos, I was talking about how it seems like people are starting to get more hip to the idea that these major studios are just using the idea of diversity and inclusion as sort of a diversion to what it is that they're doing. In other words, to hide behind diversity and inclusion, the failure of their creative team, the failure of their ability to be able to come up with great stories, first and foremost, because they want to act like, of course, diversity and inclusion is job number one. There's nothing wrong with diversity and inclusion. I've said this a billion times, but there is something wrong with it when it comes at the expense of the actual quality of the work and the plot. All right, so let's get into this story here from Screen Rant, guys, and maybe you can tell me if I'm wrong in what I'm seeing. Now, the headline says, Marvel Studios' two biggest failures. Marvel Studios' two biggest failures share one actor who helped create the MCU. Marvel Studios' two biggest failures share one actor who helped to create the MCU. This is interesting, the observation that they're making here, and of course the reasons why. Maybe you guys can help me. This key Marvel Cinematic Universe actor has an iconic legacy in the franchise, but 2023 featured him in two of the MCU's biggest failures yet. Now, of course, you guys see the thumbnail, so you know who we're talking about. So there's no, anticipation there. Let's just check it out. It says here, one iconic Marvel actor who has been key in establishing the Marvel Cinematic Universe has now been involved in two of the franchise's biggest failures. Samuel L. Jackson was first introduced to the MCU in Iron Man as Nick Fury, the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. and founder of the Avengers. Now, of course, you guys know that Nick Fury was actually conceived way back in the day as a white man. Okay, so when Samuel Jackson stepped into the role, it was one of the first, if not the first, race swap in the MCU, the most pronounced. Of course, nobody had much to say about that, other than the diehard fans who were like, wait a minute, that's not what Nick Fury is supposed to look like. And that was rightfully an observation, okay? But because of the fact that Samuel Jackson is such a bankable, such a popular, and fun to watch actor, a lot of people didn't have a problem with that, guys. And it is a fact. Samuel Jackson is one of, if not the most bankable actors working today in Hollywood. That's more than Tom Cruise. That's more than Denzel Washington. That's more than just about everybody. Samuel Jackson is the most bankable. He has grossed the most money in Hollywood with his films, with his presence, all of that stuff. Look it up. It says here, he's made plenty of MCU appearances since then, but the MCU's 2023 projects were some of Jackson's biggest yet. Now, Jackson was first introduced, it says Jackson was first involved in Secret Invasion, a Disney Plus series that would be Nick Fury's first ever solo project after over a decade in the MCU. He then played a supporting role in The Marvels, the sequel to Captain Marvel. Despite appearing in two Marvel projects this year, with one even specifically dedicated to him, Jackson's 2023 MCU legacy, unfortunately, does not have a great track record. Though, to no fault of Jackson's own, Secret Invasion and The Marvels have been two of the MCU's biggest failures so far. Now, it begins that sentence by saying that this is to no fault of Jackson's own. So why would you even make this connection? Why would you even be making this article? Okay, we'll get into that in a minute, guys, because the power of suggestion is a funky, funky thing. And it goes on to say, The Marvels broke the record for the MCU's lowest opening weekend since 2008's The Incredible Hulk, making only $110 million worldwide with $47 million domestically. The film's second weekend in theaters was no better, in fact boasting the worst second weekend drop for any comic book film, only earning $10.2 million at the domestic box office. The numbers are a 79% drop from its opening weekend. Damn! Though the film itself actually received some neutral reviews and a decent audience score, The Marvels was ultimately the victim of an unfortunate timing with the writer's strike and some audience bias. Okay, it says here, the biggest criticism of Secret Invasion seems to be its extremely slow pace with a lack of exciting action sequences. I actually didn't watch it, guys, so I guess, I don't know, you tell me, all right? Just didn't pull me in. And the mismanagement of new characters. It made the supposed slow burn too much for some viewers to bear. Considering that nothing truly feels resolved by Secret Invasion's finale, it makes the series feel almost pointless. Of course it's pointless. Look, the way that you know that it's pointless is if it says Disney Plus at the beginning of it. Everything on Disney Plus is actually pointless, especially when it comes to Star Wars, when it comes to the MCU. There is nothing going on over on Disney Plus that means anything, that's required viewing for anything that you see in the movies. It has no value whatsoever. All right, of course they try to make it do that, but ultimately it's just something to get you to pay for the subscription. That's all it is. There are plenty of unsatisfactory plot points too, such as the death of Maria Hill in episode 1 and the introduction of an overpowered Super Skrull. Though most reviews don't have a problem with Jackson's actual performance, he could only do so much with the material he was given. Once again, begs the question, why are you even making this connection and why are you writing this article? We'll get into that. It's unknown exactly where Fury is after the events of the Marvels, considering that Saber had to be evacuated and Kamala Khan has taken up the task of assembling the Young Avengers on her own. Fury's future in the MCU is up in the air. However, he's too iconic of a character for the franchise to just forget about. Earth's war on the Skrulls has just begun, and Fury should definitely be back to deal with the issue, or he could focus on trying to locate where Monica Rambeau is. He could also appear in the 2 upcoming Avengers films. Now, Samuel L. Jackson's legacy as Nick Fury in the MCU is indisputable. Doesn't seem like that by what you're saying in this article. It seems like they're trying to dispute it, throwing rocks and hiding their hands, but it says it's indisputable, but his 2023 track record has unfortunately been marred by 2 of Marvel Studios' biggest failures. Notice how they keep putting word association, Samuel Jackson, failure. Samuel Jackson's failures. This is dirty, guys. Between the disappointing box office of the Marvels and the critically negative reviews of Secret Invasion, both of Jackson's MCU appearances this year have been overshadowed by no real fault of his own, once again playing that game. Though Fury's whereabouts are currently unknown, there are still plenty of opportunities for Jackson to return in the future Marvel Cinematic Universe and put this year behind him. As if you would want to do that because it's some great big old failure. Now, guys, this is what I'm talking about. Why am I actually highlighting this article? Why am I making this point? It's because of what I talked about on my other video. All right, I think more and more people are beginning to see exactly what's going on with this diversity and inclusion thing with the MCU, with Disney. Pay attention, okay? There's no reason why they should be throwing Samuel Jackson in the mix when it comes to the failure of the MCU and its low performances. Although I have been critical of Samuel Jackson's performances as of late, I feel like he's just phoning it in. I feel like he's basically just getting an easy check playing himself. I don't think he plays Nick Fury anymore, but that's what I think, okay? It doesn't take away from the fact that this man has an incredible Hollywood record. To have him associated with your property is a good thing indeed for your property. He's gracing you with his presence, even though I'm not the biggest fan of his performances as of late. But the point that I'm trying to make, guys, is that even though you're not going to hear them say it's because Samuel Jackson is race swapped, it's because Samuel Jackson is black, they're not going to say that, okay? But it's what he symbolizes as a race swapped character. I give you what James Gunn is doing with Superman Legacy. If you've been keeping up with the casting news of Superman Legacy, you will see that the characters are actually being made to match the source material. Okay, it just so happens that the Superman universe, especially the OG Superman universe, originally was all white. Okay, these are the characters that we fell in love with. Superman, Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, all of them are presented, Lex Luthor, all of them are presented as they're presented in the book. And this is a good thing. Everybody is cheering for this, who are loyalists, who are fans of the original work. It is a good symbolism or a good omen about where we're going with that particular property. All right, so if James Gunn knocks this out of the park, and I suspect that he will, it could start a new trend of staying true to the source material. And what that will expose is this little blip in comic book movie history where they used black people, they used women, they used issues of sexuality as novelties. Like I said before, history will expose this time that we're living in as that time when they used so-called minorities as novelties. All right? And it cheapened the actual stories because unfortunately, like I always said, the inclusion and diversity piece, unfortunately, becomes synonymous with a drop in quality, a drop in commitment to the lore and to the story. You see what I'm saying? It's like when they look at these black faces, when they look at these gender and race swapped and sexuality swapped characters, it isn't just that they did that and took it to the next level where it was actually great. No, just like what it did right here. They took Samuel Jackson, of all the people that they could have named to be responsible or somehow synonymous with the failure of Secret Invasion in the Marvels. You could have listed writers. I'm sure that writers have been shared between these properties, between the Marvels and Secret Invasion. There were directors, there were showrunners, there were executive producers, but no, you choose to spotlight the race-swapped actor. Now, I know that Nia Acosta is also facing some of this because she is also now synonymous with the failure of the Marvels. And what is she? The first female black director of an MCU film. Now synonymous with the failure of said MCU film. But this is where we're going with it, guys. All right? What is it? The Little Mermaid will be synonymous with failure because that was a black Little Mermaid. This is what it will be seen as. Snow White will be synonymous with failure. Black Captain America will be synonymous with failure. But when you want to set it right, you're going to do what James Gunn is doing right now. Make it more true to the source material. And then, once it's seen as a success, because this is how it was actually visualized, then people will begin to subconsciously make the connection. Nobody has to say it's because you were black, but you're going to see it. And you're going to define this moment in history as exactly what it was. The time that they used these so-called minorities and marginalized groups as novelties, as gimmicks to disastrous results of the actual source material. You know, that's what we're looking at right now. Even a box office draw like Samuel Jackson is not immune to this. So this is the point that I wanted to make, guys. This is what I wanted to point out to you when I saw this article, because you're beginning to see it. You're beginning to see it more and more, and people are whispering about it. We're welcoming a resurgence of like authenticity, of commitment to what it's actually supposed to be. You know what I mean? So this is where it is, guys. I wanted to point it out. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys can tell me. But I don't think I'm wrong about this, guys. This is what I've been warning people about all the time. Stop clapping because they're using us, black people, as gimmicks, as novelties. Stop it. Because at the end of the day, you own nothing. Okay? They used you for everything. They paid you nothing. And the one character that they had that was authentic, that was full of integrity, and full of what do you want to call it? Just respect would have been Black Panther, T'Challa, and we don't have that anymore. So guys, you can't see the rope-a-dope. You can't see what's being done to us, but I'm here to keep pointing it out, guys. So get in the comment section and let me know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, what you feel about this. Do you think that it was Samuel L. Jackson's failure as an actor, personally, that Secret Invasion and the Marvels didn't fly? Do you see the need for an article like this? Like, what's the point? But anyway, guys, get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about this. As always, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe, guys. Thank you so much for hanging in there with me. Thank you for the super thanks. I really do appreciate it, guys. You see, I'm being forced to work all of these hours and things like that. I would love to have an alternative. So, feel free to rain down upon me. And just being here, I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks again. Hope you guys are enjoying your season, staying safe, and I'll catch you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.